Hello, this is Robert Polenic, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. I'm here for video number 4 of the Ask Rob video series. And today's topic has to do with a question that I was actually asked this morning. And the question was, a member at the gym was talking about some information that they had read online, and they were asking how to determine if the information they read was actually good for them to listen to. So whether they should take that person's advice or not. And I thought this would correlate really well to this video series, because you kind of have to ask yourself, why should I listen to Rob? So in these videos, I'm giving you advice. I'll give you nutrition advice. I gave you advice about cardio, and there'll be more videos to come. And it'll be a question you'll have to ask yourself is, do I listen to him? So is the advice he's giving me, is it accurate? Is it useful? Is it the right information? So what I did was I told the client this morning the same thing that I ask myself whenever I'm reading articles or whether I'm watching videos online, whether or not I actually take the advice of the article or the video. And what I do is I ask myself 3 things. So I take into consideration the person's education, the results that the person has got for themselves, and results they've gotten for their own clients. So those are kind of the 3 aspects that I consider the most important. So number 1 is education. So it's important that the person giving the advice is educated on what they're talking about. So not only is it important to know that something works, it's actually more important to know why it works. So the reason for this is because as your body changes, its needs will change. So a concept that you're applying right now might not work in 3 months. And then from there, it might not work in another 3 months. And the reason why is because as your body changes, its needs change. So it's better to understand the theories behind the concept, so that way you can adjust that concept as your body's needs change. And that's what education will do, is when somebody has an educational background, they tend to understand more of the reasons why, the theories why concepts work, instead of just saying, hey, I'm a big dude and this is how I got strong, this is how you should get strong. So one theory that applies to one person will not work with everybody else. So it's better to understand the concepts, that way you can apply the concepts to get the results. So the second aspect is you want to be able to see what results that person has got for themselves. So if what they're saying actually works, then they should be able to apply that information to their own life and get the results. The third thing, and in my opinion this is the most important, is what were they able to do for other people. So if they actually know what they're talking about, then they should be able to apply it to other people and get the results that they're saying they can get. So if we look down through these, I'll relate them to myself, so that way you can kind of have an understanding of what I'm talking about, and you can also determine whether or not you want to listen to what I'm telling you in this video series. So in terms of education, I do have a teaching certification in health and phys ed. So that's what I got for my bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree in human nutrition. And I also have a personal training certification through American College of Sports Medicine. So in terms of personal training certifications, there are a lot that are out there in the world. And some gyms actually just have their own certification system that a trainer will come in, actually not even a trainer yet, just some person who likes to work out. They'll come in and ask the gym for a job, so the gym puts them through their own training certification program and then calls them a certified trainer. That's not really a good system. So what you want to do is whenever a trainer says they're certified, you want to ask them through whom they're certified, and then also look that up. So if you Google best personal training certifications, ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine, my certification, will actually be towards the top of the list. I believe it's number 1, and sometimes it's tied with a CSCS degree from NFCA, and that's a strength and conditioning specialist. So these 2 are rated pretty high among the top personal training certifications. So if you Google personal training certifications and your trainer certification doesn't even show up, that's not a good idea. So that's not somebody you'd want to listen to. So you want to make sure that the person you're listening to is educated. As for results for themselves, so what I've been able to do for myself is actually quite a bit of accomplishments. When I graduated high school at 18 years old, I was 165 pounds, and I was wearing a size 36 waist. So what I considered myself at the time was a skinny fat person, which meant that I did have some body fat on me. I didn't really have visible abs, but I was also skinny. I didn't have a lot of muscle tone, so I had skinny arms, skinny legs, so it wasn't the greatest mental image, if you can picture it. But over the course of the next 10 years, from 18 to 28, I was actually able to put on 110 pounds, and at my heaviest I had gotten up to 275. From 165 I went up to 275, and at 275 I was still wearing a size 36 waist. So I was able to put on 110 pounds onto my body frame without increasing my waist size at all. So that's what I was able to do in terms of putting on muscle and mass in general. So in terms of strength, I've actually broken my collarbone 3 times, and after the second time I broke my collarbone, I could only bench press 100 pounds. From that point, I was actually able to increase my bench up to 405 pounds. And then once I reached 405 pound bench, I actually broke my collarbone a 3rd time, and I tore my pec twice, my left pec twice. So that dropped me back down to below 300, kind of in the mid-2s. And now I've been rehabbing it and working back up to see if I can get back to a 405. So right now, my last max attempt was a 345, and that was with a pause in the chest, and it was a very controlled rep. So I'm working on getting back up to 405, and that's for bench press. In terms of squat, when I graduated high school at age 18, I couldn't even squat 315 pounds. So since then, I've been able to squat 315 for well over 10 reps in a row, and my all-time max is 495 pounds, and that is 2 parallel. That's not like gym parallel where people say they're parallel. That was actually 2 parallel. So 495 pounds to parallel. As for deadlift, the most I've ever deadlifted is 600 pounds, and that was in a competition. So it was competition quality. It was not hitching. There was no wraps involved. So it was just straight, and then just get up 600 pounds best you could. And so I got there. In terms of reps, I've done 405 for 19 reps in a row with no break. I've done 315 pounds for 30 reps in a row with no break. And I've done 225 pounds for 52 reps in a row with no break. So those are the main 3 lifts, so bench, squat, and deadlift. And then I've also messed around doing some other stuff. I've done some strongman training. I've loaded a 355-pound stone up to a 4-foot box with no tacky. And I've done some other accomplishments that I'm pretty happy with. So, but so that's mass. I was able to go from 165 to 275 with the same waist. In terms of strength, I've been up to a 405 bench, a 495 squat, and a 600-pound deadlift. As for weight loss, I've actually done several weight loss diets in my life, and 2 of the biggest ones were where I lost over 50 pounds. And the one diet took me 10 weeks to lose 50 pounds, and the other one took me 12 weeks to lose 50 pounds. And I've also done some other diets. This past year of 2012, I've actually did a diet and lost 65 pounds. So, and then basically in that process, I was able to maintain my strength for quite a while. I did lose a little bit of strength towards the end of the diet. I tried to push things a little bit, and I ended up losing 15 pounds in 15 days, and that was after 20-some weeks of dieting. So from that, I lost a little bit of strength, so now I'm working on building that back up. So those are kind of my own results. And what I've done for clients and for others, I've actually worked with several hundreds of clients, and it's ranged from all ages, all abilities. So even in special cases, I've done a lot of nutritional work. I've worked with people trying to get over high blood pressure, trying to get off medications, people with diverticulitis, celiac disease, lactose intolerance, and I've also helped people overcome a lot of other health-related issues simply through nutrition alone. In terms of weight training results, I've had, let's see here, let's go through strength. So I've helped one gentleman who's 50 years old, and he was in a bike accident when he was younger, and his doctors told him he never should work out ever again. And we've actually got him up to squatting. He'll be squatting over 300 pounds. He deadlifts in the high 300s, and we're getting him to a 405 here pretty soon. And bench press, his best one so far is 285, but again, those numbers are going to be going up. So our goal for him is to get him to a 1,000-pound total here within the next 2 weeks. And he's very close. So, and that's coming from when he first came to me, he never deadlifted and he never squatted before, and his bench was barely at 225. So since he's been with me, I believe it's been a year and a half or so, we've got him the numbers where we'll be getting close to getting a 1,000-pound total. So another client I've worked with for strength was a female client I actually worked with this morning, and we tested her in a practice powerlifting meet, and she was able to squat 285, bench press 190, and deadlift 315, all at a body weight of, I think it's below or around 150. She might be mad at me for saying her body weight. But she was able to do all of that without a belt and without wraps. So knee wraps or anything, or straps on the deadlift. So it's pretty amazing. That's very, very, very strong. So that puts her at a 790 total. And our goal for her is to hit an elite total in powerlifting, which is around 850 for her body weight. But my long-term goal for her is to get a 1,000-pound total. And I know with her determination, she'll definitely be able to do it. So I've worked with a lot of other people for strength, but those are kind of two of the most recent ones. In terms of mass, in terms of building size, I've worked with a bunch of people, and we've been able to put on a lot of size on them. There's a lot of guys I work with for bodybuilding purposes, and we've been able to increase certain areas. So one guy came to me, and he initially had kind of narrow shoulders, a little bit smaller shoulders, and he was really wanting to put some size on them. So we did a ton of lateral raises to put size on his shoulders. A lot of times people believe that overhead press is the best way to put on size, but I've found over the years working with myself and with clients that if you do lateral raises, you can actually pre-exhaust the shoulders through a lot of lateral raises, then do your overhead presses, and maybe even come back to lateral raises after that, and that'll actually put on the most amount of muscle size onto the shoulders. So I've also worked with clients that are trying to gain size in their arms, gain size in their legs and their back. So a lot of it comes down to just using proper form and making sure that their ego doesn't get in the way. So not going too heavy, make sure they can actually contract and squeeze the muscle. So in terms of clients doing weight loss, I've helped dozens of clients lose over 20% of their starting body weight. So I've helped some clients actually lose over 100 pounds. And there's been a lot of examples. The one guy, I was getting ready for a bodybuilding show, and we ended up losing, I think it was roughly 40 to 45 pounds in 9 weeks. So that was a pretty great accomplishment on his part. And he got on stage, and I believe he got second out of 7 people, which is pretty awesome. So I was very happy for him. I've also helped a lot of other guys and females do physique-type shows, so bodybuilding, figure, fitness, that kind of stuff. So they've all done really well. One of the clients that I've worked with recently this past year was we did a physique show together, and he ended up losing, I think, roughly 30, 35 pounds, and he got on stage at his very first competition, got 4th out of 9 people, and, I mean, he looked amazing. Like, his abs were great. So, worked with a lot of clients in terms of all 3 goals: strength, mass, and weight loss, and then also, like I said, with a lot of people nutritional-wise, just trying to work on certain health conditions. So that's my background, and I think it's good to know, whoever you're taking advice from, it's good to know their background. So research it a little bit, ask them if they, you can also ask them for references. So I would be more than happy to give people references if they ask for them from previous clients, so they can get an idea of what I do know, what I don't know, what my strengths are as a trainer, what maybe my weaknesses are. So again, if you're trying to decide who to take advice from, that's the 3 things I look for: is education, what results did they get for themselves, and most importantly, what results did they get for others. So when you're trying to think of listening to somebody, don't think about what they did for them, think about what they can do for you. Okay? That's really the question you want to ask yourself. So if you have any more information that you would like to know about me or Brutal Iron Gym, or just any other topics you might like in this video series, you can visit us at www.brutalirongym.com. or you can visit us on Facebook. Just search for Brutal Iron Gym. And if you do get a hold of us on either one of those, feel free to contact me with any questions at all. And hopefully you guys are finding these videos useful. And thank you very much.